Uh-oh.
Lost
Hey,
Kayla
everybody.
already.
Right. That was fast. All right. Hi, everybody. Hey, welcome to Melanated Campout TV for Thursday. Yay. And with me tonight, I have Mike Blake. And I'm going to say this about Mike. Um, One of the things that we love to do is like find a sponsor that like can gel with the mission and is down with the mission, and he is like, yeah, y'all want to go camping in the woods? That sounds great. How can I support you? And so I'm like, I'm all about it. That sounds great. And then back to him, I'm like, hey, Mike, how can we support you? And so that's why he's on tonight, and he's going to tell us, especially as small business owners, some really great information about you know, and I hope I'm getting this right. Some really great information about creative advertising solutions. I know, like Kayla and myself, we're always looking for new customers because that's the name of the game, right? And I'm not even saying from Melanated Campout because y'all are family, y'all are campers, you're our cousins. But
Hmm.
for our other ventures that we're going on, we're always looking for ways to make sure that we're sustainable, and we do that by having you know, a large customer base, right? And so because of that, you're always looking for ways to market and advertise and share. And so when you run up on a good thing, you're like, I want to share it. I gotta share it. So Mike is going to help us with that, and he's going to talk us through all things crypto. And when I say all things, I literally mean just the basics. So there you go.
That's a great place to start. Thank you, Jocelyn, first off. And thank you, Kayla, both for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to sponsor such a great event as Melanated Campout. My family is very big on camping myself. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. I think it's a great event. You're bringing people and families together. It's a pleasure to be here and be supportive of the event. So thank you guys for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. So you were saying you started when you were a small child. So I'm gonna ask you this: when is the last time you went camping?
Ooh, that is a good question. I would say, unfortunately, it's been about 5 years now since I actually went legitimately camping. And this is probably
Yeah.
with a group of friends. And this might
Um,
even be a step above just regular family camping. I was actually down in South America, hiking my way to Machu Picchu with a group of my three closest friends. So we were actually in the jungle all together with like a group, a tour guide leading us. But that was some legitimate camping for sure. But that's the last time I've done it. 4 or 5
yeah.
years ago, I would say.
Awesome. That is awesome. So we cheered so hard because we went to Machu Picchu in December.
Oh
So when
wow!
I say like you hiked, you meant that because I jumped out my shower and about died. So I
I
can't
have
even
a
imagine.
question, Mike. Did you didn't take the train or the bus up? You actually hiked up?
We hiked all the way up. I think it was 4 days, approximately 30 miles total, mostly uphill. Um,
Gosh, oh my
but we did
gosh.
take the train down. I'll give you that.
Okay.
You
After
got,
we made it, it was
I need
like,
to send us some pictures. Send us some
oh
pictures,
yeah,
please.
yeah, I totally have. I can totally share them with you guys. Absolutely, great experience. Would highly recommend.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really good.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, and for those that may not know, Machu Picchu is like it's the altitude, so it's not like hiking. Hiking is one thing, but it's the altitude that like makes you super tired, or me anyway, makes me super tired.
Yep.
So like, big cheers to you. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did pretty well myself. I would say one out of my four friends that I was with actually needed oxygen tank assistance
Okay.
while we were going up. So only one of us needed it, but as a
That's
unit, I
nice.
think we did pretty well. It was intense, but a lot of fun.
Look, Mike, I'll
Yeah.
admit I needed it too, but I wouldn't admit it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's our secret. Don't worry. We won't tell.
Yeah, I don't want to say. But I love that. I love that. Awesome. Okay. So So yay for the camping adventures. And now I kind of want to move to the other good stuff that we were kind of talking about beforehand. So before I do, hey y'all, welcome on the live. Please let us know where you're from and who you are. Super interactive, and if you have questions for Mike, just throw them in the chat. For crypto, I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna let you tell us.
Yep. Yeah. It is a very complicated topic when you first look at it, but at the same time, a lot of financial concepts come off as really intimidating, really confusing, and then in my experience, once you kind of spend, um, we'll call it a couple hours, just doing a very beginner level dive, you start to realize it's really not as intimidating as a lot of other things are. You kind of just gotta power through those first couple hours of being confused, and then a lot of things start to make sense as you go along. So trust me, when I first approached the subject myself, which was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I had that same feeling of just pure confusion, like, what the heck is this? And I was actually a finance major. This is about like 6 or 7 years ago. So going into a new financial subsector, we'll call it, and being that confused, I was like totally lost. It took me a very long time to get a full understanding, but I think I am now at a beginner level understanding. So I'll do my best to break down a couple of like what I think are the key concepts. But really what I think you guys and the audience to take away is it's really not that scary of a topic. You just kind of need to dedicate a little bit of time and effort to understand the basics. And then again, I think it's something everybody can understand and ultimately everybody can benefit from in the long term. So,
Awesome, awesome, awesome,
but
awesome.
I know Jocelyn, you were talking to me about the Ethereum prices week to week. I mean, you're already doing a good job following the ecosystem and everything.
I'm trying, but yo, it definitely keeps you on your toes. So I will ask this question. So because you know you hear like Bitcoin, in your mind you think like it's a coin, but then it's like not a coin. So can
Mhm.
you tell us like very like the kindergarten version of like what it actually is?
Sure. Yeah, I think the term coin has been very well popularized within the industry. I think it is a concept that a lot of people understand. But of course, there is actually no physical coin associated with the cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and a variety of other ones. So, I mean, essentially what it is I'll call it a piece of digital property that you are now the sole owner of. And that proof of ownership is actually verifiable on a technology that is called the blockchain. And that's really the foundation, I'll call it, of what all of crypto and all of these subsector industries are based off of. When you go down to the very bare minimum, you're trying to understand what blockchain is and how it can be used to benefit basically all of society, especially in a financial and economic sense.
Wow. So, Mike, a lot of us, like Jocelyn mentioned, have heard of Bitcoin. And what if someone is brand new and they say, Mike, I have this amount of money. I have no idea what's going on or don't know anything. What should I do with so many coins? And do they
Yeah.
have a use and do they not have a use? What do you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And again, I was that level of beginner and confusion when I first approached the subject. Um, I think a lot of people have their own unique story of first being exposed to crypto in general. I would say 90% of the time it is somebody going to one of the regular exchanges. The most prominent one that comes to mind is Coinbase. That's a public
Mhm.
company. I'm sure you guys have heard of it.
Maybe it
Um,
wasn't
maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've used it. Either way, I
right.
think a lot of people's experience is creating an account with one of these public exchanges, connecting their bank account or debit card, whatever it may be, and then through the exchange actually purchasing a cryptocurrency for the first time. And again, like I said, 90% of the time it's going to be Bitcoin, just because it's the most prominent. It's been around for about 11 years now. And secondly is probably Ethereum. That's kind of the journey, I would say, of someone being new to crypto and kind of learning the ropes, essentially.
Okay.
Now, how do you choose? Because there's so many from Cash App. I hear that Cash App even has it. Like, how do you choose which one to use?
Yeah.
One better than the
Again,
other?
it's a super good question, and again, it comes down to the individual.
Okay.
I just like to preface whatever I'm going to say is definitely not financial advice. I encourage everybody to do their best learning, do their due diligence.
Absolutely.
Kayla, I would say the best way to answer your question is comparing all of the different coins to different stocks that are publicly traded on, let's say, the New York Stock Exchange. When it comes down to it, if you're purchasing shares, or in this case, coins, you're actually investing directly into a company, a project that is essentially trying to create something and add value to the larger economy. So just as you would go about looking at, okay, here's Apple stock. I know a lot of people are buying iPhones. They're pretty much the main player in the industry. I think that's a really good long-term investment. So you decide to invest in Apple stock. At the same time, you could look at the multitude of coins. And Kayla, to your point, there's literally thousands now. Literally new ones springing up every day. So there's a lot of noise for sure to dig through. But just as you would evaluate a public, actual physical company, you should do the same looking at one of these crypto projects to invest in. You want to know who are the people that are actually behind the project, actually running the coin slash business itself, and kind of make your own decision from there. Do I see myself holding this for a 1 to 3 year period? Am I just trying to make a quick buck? Is that my main goal here? You really got to know, I would say, first off, what your personal objective is before you decide to invest in anything. That's probably my number one cardinal rule, is know what your goals are before you start to invest.
I like it. That is always a good goal because, what my goals are may be different than Kayla's goals, which may be different than your goals. And so what works for one of you guys may not align with what I'm, trying to accomplish. So I like that advice. Dig and then do what works for you. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
how does all of that fit into cryptoadvertising.net?
Sure. So Crypto Advertising Network, that's kind of the company that I am now the owner of. It's more of a digital marketing company slash agency is how I like to describe it. And really, it's just catering to the crypto slash Web3 industry. And
Okay.
Web3 is this new term that people have come out with. In my head, it's synonymous with crypto and these new companies that are coming out with all these different coins. That's just one more fun word that they decided to use. So crypto Web3, kind of the same deal in a nutshell. And what my company does is really help these new breed of companies advertise just like a normal, let's say, for example, Apple would advertise the iPhone. My goal is to help these new companies broadcast their products, their new services to a larger population. And that's kind of where I sit in with my company, in the middle, trying to bridge the gap between this new industry and the general public.
Okay, I love that because, and let me tell you what I heard, and then you tell me that's right. So what I heard was, I'm a small business owner, and I have a product that I want to advertise. I need a place to do that, so I contact you, and then you're gonna assess what I need, and then put me on the right channel. Is that what I heard? Okay, cool. And I know a lot of times when the markets are new, that means it doesn't have the overhead and the pricing necessarily like some of the more traditional markets. Like, putting your ad on TV, yeah, that's a big commitment. That's a big financial commitment, yes.
Right.
And, but putting your ad on social media, less a financial commitment. So tell us how putting our ad on, like in this space, the Web3 space, how does that compare? And what are like some of the benefits of like trying to be more in this space versus, super broad and specific with getting your customers?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing question. I think a lot of companies are trying to solve that exact problem. What is the best way to invest my advertising spend, my marketing spend, to really generate the most amount of users coming to my company or buying my product, if that's what your business is. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, so really what I'm trying to offer is an alternative to a lot of the traditional social media advertising. A lot of people can decide to advertise, let's say on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm pretty sure every major social network is now accepting advertisements in some capacity. It's crazy. So
Right.
there is a lot of noise in that regard. Um, Effectively, what my company does is act as an intermediary between an advertiser, meaning some new project that wants to get their product company out. They want exposure. Basically, they just want eyeballs on what they're building. I come in and offer them a channel to get those advertisements, get your project in front of a brand new audience that you might not be able to reach on the traditional channels. Um, I know a lot of the major social media platforms, let's say Facebook and Instagram, have a lot of restrictions and they're constantly banning accounts. I know because I've used them in the past for different ventures and different things. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, Melanated Campout has probably used them in some capacity. Um,
Hmm.
Big fan of your Instagram channel, by the way. That's a great outlet. And again, basically, you just need an alternative sometimes to these platforms. So connecting people with a network of publishers is what I like to call them in the crypto space. So websites that are very well renowned as trustworthy, they're providing good news on the industry, basically where someone is going to go to their website on an everyday basis to learn. I'm helping them advertise directly on these popular websites is really how I differentiate my company as opposed to just blasting an ad all over Facebook. Now you have the opportunity to get on a bunch of different individual websites that span a much larger audience that is actually in your industry specifically. So in my head,
Okay.
it's much more targeted. It's much more valuable to an advertiser to get that
Yeah.
kind of exposure.
Yeah, which is always good. That's what I always say is like know who you want to talk to and then find out, okay, if I know that I want to talk to golfers, I should probably be where the golfers are. So,
Exactly.
and then they can probably hear me. But if I want to talk to golfers and I'm where the fishermen are, not helpful. So I have
Exactly
to,
right. Exactly right.
does it work better for one type of industry than another?
Yeah, so right now the niche I'm focused on is of course crypto and these new Web3 companies because as I look at the current digital marketing landscape, I view
Mhm.
that sector as something that's underserved at the moment. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to step in and offer a valuable alternative to normal social media marketing. Um, but of course, like the same principles that govern my business now could be applied to just about any industry, including the camping industry, the golfing industry, the fishing industry.
Mhm.
Basically, you want to be on the most popular websites that cater to your industry. So when you think about Melanated Campout, you want to be in front of outdoors types of people, advertising directly to them, um, or in your case, bringing new people into the camping world. So
Mhm.
I think the idea of digital marketing itself can be very much tailored to your specific business. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. Is there like, because we talked about limited budgets, right? So is there, I guess, a good budget to have in mind, or should you vary that based off of what your objectives are? Like, what's a good starting budget? Because if I'm thinking I want to do TV, I know I got to have a good starting budget. But if
Right.
I'm thinking I want to do this venue, what would be a good starting budget?
Again, amazing question. I think, again, it's kind of a dual answer. You want to know what your objectives are out of the gate. You want to create a strategy that fits your budget, of course. In the current day and age, we live in like the modern digital age where everything's online. I wouldn't necessarily recommend to a new business starting up to go out and buy a TV advertisement just because
Mhm.
you're going to be showing a lot of upfront costs just to buy that ad time. Um, I think about the Super Bowl this past year, there were a lot of major crypto companies that actually bought ad space. And I remember looking at some of the metrics that they spend. I think Coinbase spent about $25 million just for like a 60 to 90-second ad. To me, that's absolutely ludicrous. Like, why would you do that? Again, unless you have billions, millions of dollars in the bank, it doesn't really make sense. So I think for a lot of companies, it does make sense to find a way to place your advertisements on valuable digital real estate that is in front of your target audience. And that's probably the overall premise. It's a lot harder to do in practice. It, of course, takes a lot of testing, a lot of research, things like that. But that's where I think a company like mine can add value. We kind of solve that problem for these crypto companies. I've already found the valuable real estate to advertise on. Now you guys just need to connect the dots and give me the banner advertisement, for example, that you want displayed on these sites.
I like it because I like my hand to be held. So what I heard was you were going to hold my hand through this advertisement, and I like
Right.
Right.
here.
So Jocelyn, let me ask you a question. What have you seen are like the most productive marketing channels? Like I know you guys have an Instagram, a Facebook. What do you think is like most successful for a company like yours?
Yeah, yeah. So that's a tough one, right? I think the our second best channel is the Facebook group, which is odd because Facebook coincidentally hates us. But they love us, and then they also hate you. And that's the thing about social media is that it is absolutely at the whim of um, that that tool that day and what the algorithms want to do with you that particular day, right?
Right.
And so, but I would say our Facebook group is great because we get to engage with our campers and we have lots of interactive questions and we get to know about them. And they get to know about us and tell us the topics that they want to talk about. So that's always good. And then third best would probably be Instagram. Um,
Nice.
yeah.
Very good. And do you think like creating content on a consistent basis is probably one of the best strategies, or what is your overall strategy when it comes to building your social following?
That is a great question. Um,
Listen, I'm trying to figure this out all as I go along too. I'm trying to listen to what works for other people, what doesn't. I'm always in a learning mode, so would love to
yeah.
hear.
All right. Good luck to you. It's like the Hunger Games for social media. Um, I'm always trying to figure it out as well. I think on Instagram or IG, what we've been trying to do is like more reels recently, and those have been helpful. Um, but it's really yeah, like cracking the algorithm is really hard. So we're just trying to be consistent, and we're trying to put out good content, and then hopefully that resonates with our audience, and and we kind of go from there. But knowing exactly what they're looking for, cannot tell you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's why I think it's important to listen to your audience, listen to your users, and then kind of tailor your offering to them like on a continuous basis. Just hear that feedback and kind of adjust along the way.
Yeah. So, uh, day by day, we share this. Yeah. What do you
Absolutely.
have? What is your go to?
Well,
Yeah,
Mike, we thank you so much. And we just want to make sure that everyone knows that you're one of our very valued sponsors. And then just tell everyone how can they find you and reach you because I'm sure someone wants this information that you have.
sure. Yeah, I appreciate the shout out. Like I said, it's great to support such just like a family oriented project, community event. I think it's great what you guys are doing. Like I said, one of the most bonding family experiences I can think of when I go back to my childhood is when I went camping with my direct family and like our entire neighborhood of kids, just running around, playing by the fire, fishing, boating, like doing all that stuff. I think it's great to really be connected with the outdoors. So again, an honor to be sponsoring you guys. To answer your question, Kayla, my website directly is cryptoadvertising.net. Pretty easy to find. We also have an Instagram channel, very well connected with Jocelyn. I'm sure you'll see us interacting from time to time. I think the handle on Instagram is cryptoadvertising.net, all lowercase, no spaces. That's probably the best way to reach me. Again, if you're looking for more information on either advertising, digital marketing strategy, I'm always happy to talk and brainstorm ideas. I think it's a great way to grow a business if that's something you want to do personally, whether you're trying to leave your 9 to 5 job or just generate some sort of side income. I think the digital marketing landscape has a ton to offer pretty much every individual in the space. So I think it could be very valuable to a lot of people.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. And then that reminds me, I know we only have a couple of minutes left. Like you talk about the digital space, this metaverse and all of this stuff. So at some point I would love to talk to you and see how does all this stuff fit together?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can surely schedule like another episode. I'd be happy to do kind of an overview of that stuff. Metaverse has probably been like the most mainstream, popularized word, I would say, in the last year or so. Yeah, we could have a whole nother discussion on that. But again, in reality, it's really just making the most of digital space, a new way for people to connect with each other, ideally in a way that gives power and ownership to individuals instead of large companies, let's say like Facebook or newly crowned Meta. I think the entire ethos and principle behind crypto is actually empowering the individual. So there is a lot to be learned and a lot to gain for people in this space, for sure.
Okay. When you describe the metaverse, I like it. When I think of the metaverse, I hate it.
You're not alone, trust me.
But when you describe it like it's going to empower you and this and that, I'm like, yeah, that sounds great.
Yep.
So yes, you have to definitely come back and tell us more about that and NFTs and just educate us. And we appreciate you for being on and for being a sponsor. So thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you guys so much. I hope to attend an event, maybe not this year, but maybe the following year. I love what you guys are doing. I hope it'll be an absolute blast this year. I'm sure it will be.
Awesome. You will be missed. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, guys. Thank you very
Bye.
much. Great to be here.
All right, y'all. That was Mike Blake with Crypto Advertising Network, one of our sponsors for Melanated Campout 2022. Mike, thank you so much. We will put his information in the chat. And guys, it's a lot of good information, so please reach out. We would be remiss if we did not talk about our other sponsors and shout them out. Island John Vodka. I don't know if you saw the one of the posts today. We picked up our first batch of alcohol today. Thank you, Island John Vodka. So excited. TH Counseling and Consulting Agency. Miss LaShera was on Tuesday, and we had a very great discussion. She reminded us and everyone that will be camping to ground yourself and make sure you make this camping trip about you. So whatever it is that you want to do on this camping trip, make sure you do it. Urban Hope Community Development Corporation, Mr. Edmondson, we thank you so much for your sponsorship. Florida RVs LLC, when you get off the interstate in Dublin, they're right there. If you need anything for your RV, if you want to buy a new RV, they're going to have some models out there at the camp out. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. Make sure you go in and take a look. If you've even thought about getting an RV, or if you have never been in one, this is your opportunity, and you can get that right here at the camp out. Awesome Smiles. Thank you, Dr. and Mr. Lowe. We appreciate you all so much and can't wait to see y'all next week. Winnebago Industries, y'all. We had Jill on yesterday from Winnebago Industries, and we are so excited to see her and meet her. God, they're doing great things, and we're so appreciative for them for their sponsorship. And Atlanta Motor Speedway. So Jocelyn and I went to our first NASCAR race. When was it? Last month?
But in July, yes,
Yeah,
in July. July.
a whole experience. So we want
Yes.
everyone to get that experience that we had in Atlanta Motor Speedway. We really appreciate you all for sponsoring us. And guess what, y'all? They're gonna have a car down at Melanated Campout. So thank you, thank you, thank you to our sponsors, and thank you once again to Crypto Advertising Network. I'm excited, y'all. Camp out is what is it? If you're coming in on Thursday, Camp out will be here on Thursday, y'all. We are a week away. Can you believe it?
I know, I just sat on my couch and I was like, oh my goodness, I know what I'll be doing next Thursday.
Right.
It's so fast. Yes.
Thank you
So
to
fast.
all of our sponsors. We really appreciate you. And now we have y'all.
Should we do a drum roll?
Drum roll, please.
A guitar intro?
Right.
Yes. Yeah, we have Alan on sax. Alan, thank you so much. He has
Thank you.
tonight, as a matter of fact, and he is joining us. Y'all, when we talk about this schedule that we have, is jam packed with so much stuff that you want to do. We have a live band this year, and our live.
Hey.
Will you tell us about you and your band, sir? Please.
Oh, well, me and my band, we've been together for a minute, but we've been rocking out here and really strong. We're actually at a gig tonight over here in Cascade Heights neighborhood at a new restaurant called In It Down. So we play a mixture of modern music mixed with a little, and everybody's excited. They're actually here too. But and then talking to a little noise. Everybody's here. But we're excited to come down there for sure.
Very good. Now, Alan, tell us about your camping experience. Have you ever been camping before?
I'm an outdoors guy, so I'm outside all the time. I've been camping 2 to 3 times. At one point, I owned an RV.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right.
Well, I did.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So tell us, what can we expect on next Friday with the band?
Oh man, what can you expect? I think it was a good way to answer that. That's a tough question. I guess you have to just wait and see. It's gonna be good. I'm expecting everybody to really enjoy. I'm to myself to enjoy it, especially being out there. To the people. I think it's gonna be a really great event. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, for sure.
You went in and out when you were saying what type of music you guys play. Were you saying?
Oh, and out. Compare, but I do a lot of I mix in with the R&B, but I put my own in the song. We have kind of took a journey musically someplace and do your tunes that people know mixed in with my own original style and improvisation. And then we look for a little party too, so we know how to turn up the crowd and get everybody involved. But also a better way to you can visit my Instagram page, the Alan.
Yeah, I've been on it. I've been on it, so I'm already excited. I'm like, yeah.
That's the best way. I can't really put it into words. I just show people,
I got you. I found a word for you. You ready? Dope.
Mm-hmm. All right, there we go.
Hot. A vibe.
There you go. Yeah.
So you mentioned your Instagram. His Instagram is Alan on Sax. ALLAN on Sax. SAX. And he plays. If you've ever heard anybody play a saxophone, y'all.
All right.
That's Alan.
Thank you, guys. Well, I'm so glad I was able to make it with you guys. I'm gonna have to get the rest of the show. Any last questions?
No, that's all. No, we just thank you so much, and we can't wait to see you next week, Alan.
Likewise, thank you
All right.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Oh, there we go. Oh,
I'm
okay,
here.
let's keep popping off.
I'm here.
I love it. Yes. All
All
right.
right. So we're ready, y'all. We are. Are you coming Thursday? Or are you coming Friday? When are y'all coming?
Please. I
So
tell
you
you,
coming Thursday? It's time. We'll be sitting around somewhere around the campfire and relaxing before everyone else gets there, and
doing your favorite thing around the fire and listen to people do what?
right, tell lies and laugh.
Right. That's my favorite thing. I just want to laugh.
All right. I don't see any questions. Anything we need to hit, Miss Jocelyn?
I don't think so. I don't think so. One question I've gotten 2 or 3 times today is it too late to add somebody onto my reservation, to my ticket? And no, it's not too late. You can add somebody on. Um, and we're good. That's all I got.
That's
All right,
right.
guys.
All
We're gonna
right.
get back, and we truly appreciate you guys coming and hang out with us a little bit all week. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mhm. Mhm. Bye, y'all.